Hello, welcome in this video. We'll talk about the who's in control topic. This is one of the most important things to master in the supply and demand trading. Understanding if supply or demand is in control can help you to avoid a lot of unnecessary losses. How does this system work? It works based on simple mitigations. If price mitigates a demand zone, demand will take over control supply. If price mitigates a supply zone, supply will take over control demand. You always want to trade the controlling side of the market. So let's see an example for this. As you can see, price is moving in a downtrend here, creating a series of lower lows and lower highs. Price created a break of structure here with an impulsive, inefficient movement to the downside. So this means a supply zone has been formed here. Price didn't come back up to mitigate this zone, so this zone has been left unmitigated. Okay, after this, price created this pullback here, and after this pullback, broke structure to the downside again. This means we will have another supply zone, which is right here. After this, price broke through this supply zone, so this means demand took over control from supply. And as I said in the earlier videos, if a zone breaks, then an opposite side zone will be automatically created. So if this supply zone breaks, then a demand zone will be created automatically. Okay, price broke structure, mitigated this zone, broke structure to the upside again, created this fresh new demand zone, mitigated this fresh new demand zone again, broke structure to the upside again. This means we will have another demand zone, which is this one. This demand zone also left unmitigated. So after this movement, price did a small pullback here, and after this pullback, price broke structure to the upside again. This means we will have another demand zone, which is right here. But in this case, price tapped into this supply zone. If price taps into a supply zone, when demand is in control, and it rejects on that supply zone, supply will take over control from demand. Okay, let's see, we have two scenarios here. I mean, basically three scenarios. The first one, if price breaks through this supply zone without a rejection, demand will be control, and supply did not take over control. The second one, price rejects on this supply zone and taps into this demand zone. So on the tap of this supply zone and rejection, supply took over control from demand. But if price taps into this demand zone and does a rejection on it, then demand will be control again. Okay, the third, if price rejects on this supply zone and breaks through this demand zone, supply will be fully in control and the new supply zone will be formed, because as you know, if a zone breaks, then an opposite side zone will be automatically formed. So a supply zone will be formed here, and supply will take over control from demand fully. Okay, let's see a live example for the who's in control topic. We have a supply zone up here, because let's say it broke structure to the downside with this inefficient movement. After the structure breaking movement, price did a pullback and created liquidity here, which is double bottoms. After this, price broke structure to the downside with this inefficient push, as you can see. So we have all the three criteria in order to form a valid supply zone. So first criteria, price swept liquidity. Second, it broke structure. Third, it created inefficient move. So we have a valid supply zone, which means supply is in control. Okay, after this, price tapped into this demand zone and had a strong rejection in it, which means demand took over control from supply. But it isn't a full control, because as you can see, we still have this supply zone up here. And if price taps into this supply zone and reacts on it, supply will be in control again. If price breaks through this supply zone, demand will be fully in control. But in this region between the demand and between the supply zone, demand will be just partly in control. Okay, as you can see, demand was partly in control, reacted on this supply zone, had a rejection, which means supply took over control from demand again. After this, price broke through this supply zone and created a demand zone that did a supply breaking movement. This means demand is fully in control now. But we have a supply zone up here, which was the extreme of the move because it started the whole bearish order flow. And the price actually tapped this supply zone, which means supply took over control from demand again. And as you can see, we have this last demand zone right here, which created the inefficient movement and the break of structure to the upside. And price broke through that zone with this movement, with this inefficient movement. after this supply tap. So what do we know about zone breaks? If a zone breaks, then an opposite side zone will be automatically created. So if a demand zone breaks, which is here, a supply zone will be created, which is here. Sorry. So this week started the inefficient movement to the downside and the break of structure. So this means this week will be our right supply zone. As you can see, price came back up to this supply zone, mitigated this supply zone, and reversed the price again. So this means supply is in control in this region. And this goes on and on again. Okay, as I said in the beginning of the video, you always want to trade the controlling side of the market. So supply was in control because it was creating series of lower lows and lower highs over and over again, forming supply zones. But as soon as price stepped into demand zone, and this demand zone had enough power to reverse the price and create a change of character, you will want to see demand trades, because demand did a change of character to the upside and took over control from supply. You will want to trade the controlling side of the market, which is demand in this case. So you will have room between this supply zone, which was the last supply zone before the demand tap. So you will have room between this supply zone and this demand zone to trade long side opportunities. And as soon as price steps into this supply zone, you will want to see short side opportunities. But if price doesn't give you the right opportunity to execute short trades, so supply trades, and it breaks through this supply zone, you will want to trade the controlling side of the market again, which is demand in this case again. And you will also have a room between this demand zone and this supply zone to execute long trades. So yeah, you always want to trade the controlling side of the market. This is one of the most important things in supply and demand trading to master, to understand what is in control and where you can execute the trades and what can be your TP. And your TP will be always the unmitigated supply or demand zones.